Cool. Yeah. So for the recording, this is Mason. Hi. This is
Hi.
Brenda Wagner. Prior Norman North High School director. I'm curious. So how we? I forget if I ever saw you while I was at Longfellow. If there was ever a visit or I came
Probably
to
not.
see North. I don't remember one. necessarily.
Because probably All City, those kind of events.
At All City. Oh.
I would have been at all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the reason why is because for, 20 plus years, I was the orchestra coordinator. So after the North classes were done, I got my normal planning period for North, plus a planning period to be orchestra coordinator. So that took me out of team teaching at the middle schools.
Or like the traveling to the different.
Yes.
Huh.
So I always taught a beginning string class first in the day. Then I had the 3 North orchestras. Then a planning period, and then a coordinator time.
And then a coordinator time.
So that took me out of the teaming.
Interesting. Yeah. How did did you start as a team, or did you start as the orchestra?
When I came to Norman, I'd already taught 5 years in Oklahoma City, and then I came to Norman, and I became John Clinton's assistant at Norman High, and taught 4 elementaries, did Norman High, and then I team taught at the end of the day at Irving. I also got Whittier 8th grade in there some days. So I did more teaming then.
Yeah.
And then as things evolved, fewer 5th grade, I then moved and I actually taught a 6th grade class at Irving. I was the primary teacher, and then the second 6th grade, I was the team teacher.
I see.
But I actually taught it most of the time because I'd already taught one 6th grade class.
Right, you already had...
I already had the flow going.
The flow for what you're doing. Interesting. Cool. I kind of wanted to pivot to I think it's a good opportunity, like, since you have this class actually can be a helpful thing for, like, what you think string students in their first year, or really just ensemble instrumental students, some really, like, key skills and concepts that, like, is really important that they learn or at least get introduced to in their first year.
As a beginning student, number one, I think posture. And how you sit, feet flat on the floor, up in your chair, so that you establish that in instrument position. Those are critical. Bow holds.
You gotta, yeah.
You have to. If you don't get those fundamentals going, it's just harder to build on that. And I think then you plant seeds. Like even with this group, at the beginning, we did some harmonics. Well, that gets you in the shifting. And I love it because you have the best hand positions when you do a harmonic. So you're playing, and I teach 5th graders. I usually put a little dot, a little smiley face sticker or something where their harmonic is. So, but their hand position is set. It gets them that motion that you're going to move. You're not going to stay in first position for the rest of your life.
Right.
I also think once you get into it, not at the very beginning, but even second semester, you start addressing pitch more. Listen to where your finger is. And if it's not right, move it. At the beginning, you're just happy if they got, to play E, you're just happy they got first finger on the D string somewhere near the tape you put down. With a good hand position. That's exciting.
That's it,
But as you get really into second semester, you can start addressing, where is it? You can play something for them and play it out of tune, because their ears are also getting better. You'll find more of them say, my instrument's out of tune. And they're right, usually. Because they start to hear where that open string is.
Right.
So you're just planting lots of seeds for future. But you always, position is just something you have to stay on.
Yeah. I mean, especially since in music education classes, since I've been trying violin and viola, it's a really interesting and difficult transition because the sort of pronation is very different than the supination, like really extreme. Even just for like the muscles to like maintain and work in this plane are so set up and strengthened, and like so it's hard to like no, move back.
Yes. But with beginners, they don't have any of that concept.
Sure.
So then you just have to keep going with that. I've taught adult beginners before, and they're interesting because a lot of them cannot turn their hands to the side this way. That their bodies aren't built to do that.
Yeah.
But with younger kids,
it's more like flexible. It's
much more flexible.
I see. Yeah. Speaking of adult beginners, or I guess these
are adult beginners. Yeah, they are
included. What is like? So there's sort of like a flexibility that's there. How are sort of like their like mindset and approach to learning the instrument different than?
I think for them, maybe when you get to this level, you have a purpose. You know, I'm going to go teach.
Yeah.
And so there's a reason I need to learn these. And as I've tried to tell them, they don't know as young band directors. I have Isaac, who's a string player, but everybody else will be a band director. And I'm trying to explain to them, you don't know what situation you're walking into. You may be the assistant band director, and it's your job to conduct the musical orchestra. And they're your string players. You may be, happened at Norman North all the time, you're the young incoming band director. You're assigned to help the orchestra when we have full orchestra. So your experience, you may need this. And what I've tried to tell them is when I went through school, I was going to teach middle school orchestra. That's what I wanted to do. Well, I paid attention in the band tech classes because I loved learning to play new instruments. I thought it was fun. But I never went into it with the mindset that I might actually teach this someday. Not at the beginner level, but at the upper level. So I think it's a mindset too. Yeah. I think how do you then sort of approach and give feedback for higher level band players, but not from the ground up, from beginning, like starting while they're already in high school, in the full orchestra? I think that's where you do rely on your band director assistant. Some years, the past few years have been fabulous. Because I had Mr. Van Vickel, and he was there every time, and it was great. Before that, not always did I have. So I have to learn more on how to get what I want from a wind player. So sometimes in the OKC field, I'd take a score, and I'd go to Carl Sievers in the trumpet section and say, okay, they're not doing this. What do I need to say to them to get them to produce this? What do I need in the percussion section? I don't like the way they're rolling here. So I relied on a lot of different specialists, because that's what you're dealing with. You're in a specialty area by that point in time.
Yeah, specialists, yeah.
You know, where does the tongue go in the clarinet to get this articulation that I want? I use lots of analogies. You probably in orchestra, we did it all the time, that you need your winds and brass to play pizzicato. Because it's a length, and it's a release of note. And so then they have to figure, how do I do that? And also like listening up. Yes, and so they have to match both.
How do I sound like they're?
Yes, and then they have to realize, string players have to realize that they have to breathe. So sometimes you can't go right on because you have to take a breath with them. So you stay together.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing especially I remember in orchestra, like this importance of like string players have to breathe too.
Yes, absolutely. I am big on that.
It's big on that. Like, you think, no, they have to breathe though.
They absolutely have to, or they don't produce a sound.
But we, in
You don't.
a finer sense,
You don't have to play your instrument.
you don't literally have to, but like to make a sound. It's like the bar for have to is like
Yes, it's
if
different.
you want sounds to come out of your instrument, you have to. If you want to be together and musical, and you have
Correct.
to.
Correct. So there's a different
yeah.
have to for string players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think you really do have to.
Yeah.
Because the music needs you to breathe.
It needs you to breathe, yeah. Yeah. With sort of like musicality like that, sort of the non-technical skills for orchestra, what are some like, especially like musical concepts or things, sort of maybe in two instances, so in like 5th or 6th grade, what like musical things can you introduce, like besides posture, besides like, or sort of how it can, like, did you, I guess, what are your thoughts on continuing elementary music education into orchestra?
You mean like when they start with the vocal music?
Or like in the general elementary music class, what do you think about using some of those skills and knowledge that they learned there?
I think it's important. And I think what you end up doing, you find out which schools, they may be counting quarter notes or ta, ta, ti, ti, tas. So you have to say, in orchestra, we call this would be a quarter note in orchestra, but this is how it relates to what you've been doing.
In orchestra, we do this, yeah.
Yeah, in orchestra, this is how we would count this.
That's a good way of, because sort of like unifying
Yeah, and
the
anytime
different
you can
ideas
relate
about
back
it.
to their prior knowledge is critical.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find out what they've been doing
Right.
in their elementary music classes.
Yeah, you can keep tabs on them.
Yeah.
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 Interesting. Cool. I think maybe one more question. So I want to move into more, like, a lot of these I think are things I've seen in full orchestra with us when we were doing some things like pulling back the curtain a little bit. I'm curious what the most like effective classroom management strategy you've had, or a handful of ones, or maybe some that you've tried and weren't so helpful, or you've seen some pitfalls. Or
Yeah, and honestly, by the time you get to the top high school group, you're going to have fewer discipline type issues.
Right, yeah.
Because those are the really serious ones that want to be there. But
Right,
your middle
right, makes
school, 5th grade, I didn't usually have too many issues with 5th graders. Sometimes talking, and you have to work on rehearsal skills from the beginning. We don't talk when we stop. We don't keep playing when the conductor stops. Even young high school groups have to work on that. And I use always a lot of, okay, for the next 10 minutes, we're going to have a rehearsal. And that means you stop when I stop, and you may not talk at all unless you raise your hand and have a legitimate question. And then you do that, and then you say, okay, now you get 10 seconds to talk to the person next to you. Okay, now for the next 10 minutes again, we're going to have a rehearsal. So you start teaching them how to rehearse. Because a lot of them don't know how. You can tell when you go in as a clinician what classes know how to stop and work on spots, as opposed to groups that obviously just play through all the time. Because getting them to stop and say, okay, we're going to work on these 2 measures. Cellos are going to play these 2 measures. Everybody else is going to help by singing the cello part while they're playing. And I think keeping kids engaged is critical. So I'm big on singing. And so when one group is playing, everybody else can learn to sing their part. so that they still are engaged. Or you say, okay, first violins, you're listening to the cellos. And then you say, okay, what did you hear? Did they play it together? Was it in tune? Any questions you want to ask? Did they vibrate? So you give them specifics to address.
Right.
So you're keeping them involved in the rehearsal, as opposed to shutting everybody out while you work with one group.
Right. I've seen that sometimes where people will like with my peers or something, if they take too long with a group, they'll like apologize for like, sorry for isolating. I know you guys aren't doing anything, like, and it like.
And it's not that you never need to do that,
right?
Because there are times, yes, you do need to just you're it. I also use one where to take maybe the stress of a section playing by themselves. I tell them we're going in the cone of silence. So anything you do, no one can see you or hear you. So play loudly. If you make a mistake, it's okay because nobody else can hear you in the room.
Cone of silence.
So it's if you ever watch the old show Get Smart, as old, they would go into a cone of silence.
That's a cool.
So you kind of take some stress off them feeling like, oh, everybody's staring at me, watching me.
Right.
Which of course they are.
Right. But
in your mindset, they're not.
Yeah, like it's a like physical like representation that you can imagine. Like it's easier to imagine the cone of silence than it is to imagine that it's okay to play in front of
yes.
Like it's a placeholder until you can develop like the confidence and
yes. And another thing I'd love to do, the kids always like to do this too, is if you have a section or two playing, you say to maybe one section, depends on how many kids you have. Like in my middle orchestra at North, there would be 50 some. So I might say, okay, cellos are going to play this spot. I need first violins to go stand by a cellist. And you're going to listen to see if their F sharps are in tune. Are they doing the same bowing as everyone? Whatever specific you want to give them. So now they're involved. And then you're asking, okay, second violins, you're listening to and watching. They love to do that because they can go by their friends.
Yeah, they can go and choose who they want to stand by. And they're moving around too, especially for
they need to get up and move.
Younger students, they need to get up and move.
The kids love to do what I mix up, where you take your music. You have to kind of prime that one to be sure everybody has a copy of their music. So you have to go sit next to someone that doesn't play your instrument or your same part. And it's great. They love it. I don't do it very often, but they love it. But it's really good for them to kind of be isolated on their part. They can really hear themselves.
Right, yeah.
And the person next to them can hear you, and it's an interesting blend.
Yeah, like you're...
And it's different. It's doing the same thing differently.
Right.
And all that kind of solves some of the discipline issues. Stand by the kid that's causing the biggest trouble.
Yeah, just being there.
Just stand right there. Now they shouldn't have phone issues, but I had a couple kids that were on their phone, and the second you stop, they had that phone. I just teach class some days right there, right by them.
Right. Yeah.
So the proximity works really well.
Yeah, the proximity.
Sometimes you have to call parents too.
Yeah, like.
And just say, he's very talented, he's doing good things, but he will not stop talking. And it's a problem. Can you help me?
Yeah. Okay, and then I think one last thing of what kind of expectations and how you can try and enforce like outside of class time work, like practice outside of class. It's really tricky, and there's a lot of
I am a Jackie Dillon student, and Jackie Dillon was one of the orchestra pedagogues for forever. In fact, she actually started me on the violin. She started the Norman String program. She ended up at Wichita State in string music ed. Fabulous. Read anything you can find of hers. Okay, ask me your question again.
I guess I'll change it slightly. What expectations have you found most effective for outside of classwork?
I grew up on the practice report cards that your parents signed once a week. Here were my parents, even my mom, which was kind of funny. She'd be like, just sign my name. Just sign my name. Because we were definitely practicing.
Yeah.
Because we were going to lessons, and there was no question like we weren't practicing.
Right, yeah.
So we signed our own. I am not a huge fan of practice report cards because I think there's a lot of, lying is not a very nice word, but a little fudging of the amount of time. Jackie Dillon always talked about that you have to teach as if they are not putting anything in extra outside of class. That has to be your first assumption. And when Norman High Orchestra was a newer orchestra, they went to the Midwest Clinic, with big deal.
Yeah.
North did that a long time ago. And she had a viola player who was principal viola, great person, is in the arts community in Norman. And he came up to her after the concert and he said, "That was so amazing. We're so glad we got to do that. Do you know that I practiced probably an hour and a half for this performance?" Well, that's months of an hour and a half. Wow. But for him, that was a lot. So for me, I can say, I need you to look at this spot. And some of them will. But you also have to go in with the mindset that the majority are not. That kids are busier today than they ever were 20 years or so ago. They're in so many activities.
Yeah.
And they don't have time.
Yeah.
You know, if you meet after lunch, you can say, come in 5 minutes early and look at this spot. Yes, you can make a tryout out of it. You can do that to get them to practice.
Right. As like an incentive. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how that incentive can kind of go into like a playing test. Or like an assessment that you can like point to.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Have a concrete.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's a lot. I think especially now there's a big focus on having as much the data of your students as you can.
Yes.
Especially for music, for arts, and I'm sure you've had your whole.
Yes, but here's something else that I always think of. What about those kids in the back of your section? I'm not talking in your top group, but what about in the bottom group or the middle group? Those kids that are in the back, if you really grade them on what they're actually producing musically, are they going to end with a D, a C, an F? Some of them are struggling.
Yeah.
And it's not because they're not paying attention. Sure, they could put more time in on it. But why are they still in your class? What are they getting? They're getting something out of it. The camaraderie. So sometimes maybe there's more important things overall than just I can play this and I can play it at a 98%. Some of them are never going to get there. So are you going to lose great, solid kids who really contribute to the program because they can't make an A on a playing test?
Right.
I just think there's more to it than I'm the best player. No, they're never going to come to a major university like OU and get in the orchestra. They're not going to do that. They're not going to go try and be in the professional orchestra.
Right.
They know
it's
their
not
limitations.
The next,
So, but they're obviously getting something
Yeah, they're getting
It's
something.
important to them.
Right.
To keep
Right,
going
yeah.
through that.
Yeah, at least for that time.
Yeah,
in the
like in
ensemble.
high school even, or.
Like it's important, and right, they're getting something. Yeah. We were talking about this a little bit yesterday, actually, with Jackson Anderson. Of like, he has an interesting form of sort of like, of like assignments or something. Basically, you have this whole checklist that you have a month to like pass off all these different things, and they'll pull individual students out of class to pass off a certain skill or a certain thing or a certain and the students can choose which days they go and do which skills, and it's sort of a thing like that. I know we had some instances where like sections would leave and do like a self-guided like for cello choir or
sectionals.
for sectionals, or
I firmly believe
like
in
a lot
that.
of sectionals.
I
like that.
love that. I thought, particularly in your top group, because they know how to, and you've taught them how to do sectionals.
Yeah.
Even last year, though, I had a couple, at least one section that didn't do that so well. So I would end up spending more time with them. You know, the cellos could go take care of themselves because they have good people like you that can, and then first finally, okay, I don't need to go do that. And okay, maybe this section needs me a little bit more to help guide them.
Guide them
in how they're doing it.
Right, yeah. Cool, yeah, and I'm wondering if there was any sort of like representation on the grade or participation with those other ensembles or the choirs, or if there was anything because it was definitely outside of the normal orchestra.
Yes, it was, and I did not put grades on it because I think that's hard.
Yeah.
But I think, as you saw, there was a culture that it was just something you did.
Something that you did, yeah.
Now, I've had a student the last couple of years who couldn't do it because they were actually gone the day, they knew they were going to be gone the day of district solo and ensemble. So there was no way to change.
I see.
So they didn't. But they were always at rehearsals, listening or, you know, doing what they could do.
Right, like still being a part of it.
Yes,
still,
yes.
Interesting. Yeah.
And you could make it an assignment. I don't know. I just never. I would rather have that culture of this is just what we do.
It's what we do. It's not.
We stay and work this part of our lunch to do this.
It's not like you have to really work to do this thing. It's
correct.
Just what we do here.
Yeah, it's just what we do. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, and that's absolutely the experience I had. Is just like, okay, we're doing cello choir. That's just what.
Yeah, this is what
we're
Norman
doing.
North does.
And I walk into
and
it.
Norman High, when I was teaching at Norman High, we did cello choir too.
Yep.
So it just became, this is just the culture.
I think especially as a freshman, you're trying to fit in. You're trying to. They tell you you're doing.
Okay.
This thing. Okay, I'm doing this thing. Sure.
Right.
I'm in on the group. The sort of as a place for like. I found it to be a really great place for like bonding and like sectional bonding, because I know that I know there's something especially for marching band. They have a big benefit almost of your section is your group, and you do a lot
together,
isolated and together, and a lot of time. And we definitely have like a sectional like identity in orchestra, but there's not as much explicit time.
No, there isn't,
separately.
And good and bad on both of those fronts.
Yeah.
But I think for the cellos, for me, there was such a thing like you all did something with scales somehow that hopefully it kept being passed along.
We did.
Hopefully all that has been passed along.
Yes.
Because that built that community, that cello community.
That really did. Yeah.
And I think what I found, even when I went to state contest this year, I had some of my senior violins find me and say, okay, we sent a group me out last night and again this morning. Like, we reminded them to do everything, and because we've got to get this, be sure we're all together, and
Yeah,
Yes.
self-organizing.
Yes,
But yeah.
I love that.
That's great. Great. Cool, yeah. And I think it's right. It's a part of the culture. It's something that if you put a grade on it or step into it too much, it's like less
For me, it
student
becomes,
driven, or like it doesn't.
and that's
have to
exactly
be,
what
yeah.
I like. I like that that's student driven.
Yeah.
Or when you see on the board, oh, second violins are having a sectional at lunch today because, oh yeah, they're not playing that spot very well, so they've called their own sectional. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is great.
Right.
So, but it does matter on who you make your section leaders.
As like a leadership
And
for
to be
those
honest,
groups, yeah.
I'm pretty much that section leader is that section leader for the year.
Mm-hmm.
North is doing some moving around this year, which I agree because I've done that past a little bit more, because you've got some kids that are really, like, all 5 of them are really good, and they all can do it.
Right, I see. Yeah.
So that's different. But you know, if your concertmaster doesn't have the best audition on one day, you still need that person to be your concertmaster because that's a leadership.
The leadership role, yeah. Yeah, I think
And you just heard it like, oh, that was not a good. Having a bad day today.
Right. So like
You know.
Yeah, you know how they normally
Yes,
play.
absolutely.
You know them.
Yes.
More than that. Interesting.
Does that help?
Yeah, that's very helpful.
I think
yeah.
it's a culture that
lot of
you
insights.
and you have to work at it. So when you go into somewhere new, you just have to work to build. And see, like when I moved from Norman High to North, we were a new school anyway, so we were going to have to build a culture. And we added 9th and 10th graders that we had never had. So you have to.
Right.
We really started from scratch.
I see. Yeah.
With a few people that came with us to North.
Yeah. I guess like stepping into a new environment, what's some advice you have for me stepping into the Edmond North?
I think you have to
environment?
do a lot of watching.
A lot of watching. Okay.
And I firmly believe that for new teachers also.
Yeah.
Mr. Van Vickel, who's been our band director at North, he recently moved. He's at Deer Creek now. And you know, those marching shows are set. When they finish the marching show, so he'd already set the North marching show before he left. So that director steps in and takes whatever has been established. He just did the very same thing. So I think you go in with watching, seeing how things work, changing little things that you think need to be changed, but you cannot just go in and change.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna
You have to go and
you're gonna
watch
meet
first.
total resistance.
Yeah.
He was telling me about a football game. He watched how that band did things. He's like, I didn't like this part so much. So we worked on tweaking, not changing. We just worked on tweaking a few things for the next game.
Tweaking.
It's like, that's exactly what you do.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what I'll be going into. Definitely of like being like rehearsing the ensemble.
Yes.
And tweaking in those ways.
Yes. Yes.
Of like to like establish like that I'm here to like learn from them and like respect that they've got a good thing going already.
Absolutely.
That I'm not here to barge in.
No, and what can you do?
And I say this and I say this. And,
yeah, and what can you do to contribute? And then what can you do to make it better?
Make it better, right? So it's
I mean,
about.
they're not perfect. You know, no one is.
Right.
Oklahoma City Philharmonic isn't either. And somebody could come in and go, well, that didn't sound so good. What can we do to correct that?
Right. So it's more focused on improvement than just
Yes.
change.
Yeah, and student teachers have the least amount of changeability.
Right. Yeah.
I had a student teacher one time. Well, they had it was a 9th grade orchestra. The kids had a pool party at one of the kids' houses. It was great.
Yeah.
It was a Sunday afternoon. It was fun.
Yeah.
And so I went, that was all good. And a week later, this person announced, okay, on the Saturday, the whatever it was, we're going to go to Lake Thunderbird and do a hayride. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. You should have run that by me.
Ooh,
Because
yeah.
it's a school
I should have run
activity.
by, yeah.
And everything's a school activity. There are procedures and things in place.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be sure I could be because it's now a school activity. Yeah, that didn't go over so well.
That's not the best, yeah. Especially when you're pulling outside of the classroom.
Yes.
In any way.
And you have to learn what their norm is and what they do.
Right, because I'm sure they have a ton of like traditions and cultures.
Yes.
And this is how we do things here. This is how. So like, starting with listening.
And I think you learn, and then you think, wow, if it were my group, I don't think I'd go that way. I think I'd do this.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully he has a copy of the handbook and everything
Yeah,
for
definitely.
you.
I should be able to. Yeah.
So you can see how he did it.
Interesting. Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, this is great.
This has been great. Yeah.
Yeah.